in your math notebook, kind of get them situated in four corners. And when you're done writing it down, we're going to plug them into Desmos to get answers. All right? All right, so let's look at the first one in Desmos. X plus 2y equals 8. And what was the next one? That'll help me out if you guys tell me. And where those two things cross is -5, 6.5. That's the solution to that system. So write that down next to your problem. -5, 6.5. All right? -5, 6.5. Problem 2. Micah, hook me up.
Y equals -7x plus 13.
Okay, and what's the next one?
Y equals -1.
Okay, the solution to that is 2, -1. So for problem 2, the solution is 2, -1. That's the intersection of the two lines. That's the solution to the system. 2, -1. All right, problem 3. Micah, that was nice and loud. Let's keep it going.
3x plus 8. No, 3x equals 8.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
And then 3x plus y equals 5. 15.
Okay, and these cross at 2 2/3, 7. So write that down. 2 2/3, 7. 2 2/3, 7. Last one, Micah.
Y equals 2x minus 7.
Okay?
And then 4 plus y equals 12.
And that system crosses at 7 1/2, 8. 7 1/2, 8. So you just jotted that down next to it.
What was C again?
I don't remember.
2
2 2/3. Okay, so now that we got all these answers, what we need to do is be able to compute these same answers. So I'm going to go over how we're to get these answers, and then we're going to check against Desmos to confirm or deny if what we're doing is correct. Again, we're going to look at big ideas. So let's start with this big idea. What is true about x and y where the two lines cross each other?
It's a solution.
It's a solution, and it works for which line? Both. So it's the same x and y. So would you agree with me that for A, if x equals -5, this x also has to equal -5 where they cross?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, we're going to do this together. So if that x up top equals -5, check it out. That means -5 plus 2y has to equal 8. It has to be true where they cross, right? Just because x is x where they cross. Well, check out my new equation, friends. How many variables are up in there? One variable, which means I can figure out what it is. Yeah, we're going to add 5 to both sides. We're just going to make some equivalent equations here. No big deal.
Divide 8 plus 5, or no, divide 13.
Divided by 2, and y is 6.5. So here's what that means. Where they cross, x is the same, -5. And where they cross, y has to be the same, which is 6.5. Check your Desmos answer.
Yep.
Whew, thank goodness. Otherwise, I'm messed up, right? Decimals don't lie. So the big idea was where they cross x and y are the same. That's it. Then we know how to solve equations and stuff already. So problem B. If y is -1, what has to be true about the other y? It has to be -1, which means -1 has to equal -7x plus 13. Because where they cross x and y are the same. How many variables I got up in there now? Which means I can solve for it by making equivalent equations. So how do I get rid of plus 13? Minus 13. -14 is -7x. So x has to be 2. What is y where they cross?
It's a -1.
-1's right here already, right? So I got 2, -1. Check it with your Desmos answer.
Yep.
Whew, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Wait, but then what about this?
We're going to get there. Okay. So, again, big idea where they cross x and y are the same. So if 3x is 8 if 3x is 8 here, what does this 3x have to be?
8 plus 1.
8. I heard Will Baker doing this during the warm-up, actually. All right. How do I get rid of plus 8? Minus 8. So y has to be 7. Now, you might be like, okay, I know y, that's good now, but how do I get x? Well, if 3x equals 8, x has to equal 8/3 or 2 2/3, which from Desmos, did we have 2 2/3, 7? Boom. Yeah. Yeah.
So are we?
Okay, last one.
What is the test?
If y is 2x minus 7, what is the other y? Because where they cross, it has to be the same. So 4 plus y, which is 2x minus 7, has to be 12. My new equation has how many variables? 1. So I can use equivalent equations to isolate that variable. So I've got 2x minus 3 equals 12. Add 3. So I have 2x equals 15. Divided by 2. X is 7.5. Oh, how do we get the y? Check it out. Minus 4 minus 4. Y is 8. I like to circle my partial answers because the actual answer to this is the ordered pair. 7.5, 8. Did everybody see how I got that y?
Yeah.
I already have an equation here that says y alone. So y has to be 8 to equal 12. That's where I got my y. And x and y have to be the same for both lines where I have a solution to the system. I'm going to get you started for the first one. And we'll focus on one at a time on here. We'll get you started for the first one. I'm going to look for something to substitute. Do I know an x or a y here? We know an x. X is y plus 4, right? So if on this one x is y plus 4, what has to be true about this x up here? It also has to be y plus 4. So 5x, but x is y plus 4 minus 2y equals 26. How many variables do I have in my answer now? 1, which means I can get it alone. That's what you're going to work on right now. Get it alone. So the first thing I'm going to do to isolate y is distribute. The next thing I'm going to do is combine like terms. And now I can start isolating y. So if 3y is 6, what does y equal?
2.
We're not done though.
2 plus 4 equals
I need to substitute it in. You could substitute it into either equation. Are you seeing that this equation is easier though?
Yeah.
Because 2 plus 4 equals x. So x is 6, which means my answer is the ordered pair. 6, 2. Which equation does this have to work in? Both, because where they cross x and y are the same. So 30 minus 4, is that 26? Yes. Is 2 plus 4 6? Yes. I just put in my x and y's here for both equations. It works for both. So let's get problem number 2 set up. By problem number 2, which one do I want to go? Bottom left. Okay, what's the thing I know that I can substitute in for the other?
You know, you can sub in.
Oh, you can put in the 18.
Hadley.
So you could either put 8f for the 2d, or you could do more math and put in d for 4f.
Okay. I'm seeing a couple things here. Yeah, if 2D is 8F, right? Those are the same. 2D and 8F are the same. I like what you're laying down. I can put this 8F in for that 2D. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, but you can also put the 1d in for 4f.
Oh, so you can say like 2D equals 8F is the same thing as D equals 4F. So you can put D into there. Here's what I'm going to choose to do just because this is what I did first hour too. I see that 2D is 8F, so I'm going to put 8F in for 2D. Because where they cross, what's true about D and F? They're the same. So that means that 18 minus 4F equals 8F. Everybody follow? So, let's get F alone. I'm going to add 4F to both sides. 18 is 12F. How do I undo times 12? Divide by 12. So F is 9/6, which is 3/2. I'm going to circle it because this is not my answer. This is part of my answer. The answer is an ordered pair where they cross. It doesn't matter. 3/2 equals F, F equals 3/2. I kind of like it saying like F is this thing. You can substitute it into either equation. I'm going to choose to put it right there. So 2D equals 8 times 3/2. Everybody go with what I just did? I can cross simplify here, a 1 and a 4. So 2D is 12, which means D is 6. For ordered pair, 6 3/2, or 1 1/2. You could do a 1 1/2 there. All right. The answer has to have the ordered pair. So just organizationally, I like to circle my partial answers so I can find them again, and I box my answer. Ellie. You don't. It just, this is like, I did alphabetical order, but you could also just have like these two parts and be like, these are my two parts where it would cross.
Oh, so it doesn't really matter which place we put it in at the end?
Well, you should have a system. I think alphabetical makes sense because that's XY is alphabetical as well. DF. Anyway, we got 2 more to practice. These ones you're going to do more solo, okay? You're going to practice the 2 on the right with your partner. Let's go. All right. Looking around, the first one, pretty solid. Most people saw, oops, wrong thing, that if P is this, P is also that. Which means 2m minus 2 times P, which is 2m plus 10, equals -6. The next thing I would do to isolate m is distribute. That's where I am after distribution. I would then combine like terms. And I've got 2 more moves to get m alone. Plus 20. And divide by -2. So m is -7. It's only half my answer though. Once I know m, I need to find p. It can go into either equation. I think this one looks like it's a little easier. You guys see why? Because I don't have to move anything around. I can just plug it in. So -14 plus 10 is -4. So -7, -4 would be where those 2 lines are both true. 2 constraints, just like yesterday. Remember, we needed $15 and 2 pounds, 2 constraints. It will work. I'll show you, I guess. 2m minus, 2 times -7 minus 2p equals -6. You'd have to add your 14 to both sides here. Here's your -4 still. It just takes more work. It still works, though. All right. Any questions about that one? The next one's actually really easy if you use fractions, like improper fractions and stuff. Okay? It's like no big deal. So let's do the second one. Do we know what z is or what w is?
No.
Z, kind of. Z is 3w minus 2, so that's going to go right there. So w plus 1/7 z, but z is 3w minus 2. That equals 4. So I'm going to distribute my 1/7 here. And I get w plus 3/7 w minus 2/7 equals 4. I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to, instead of doing 1 3/7, I'm going to do 10/7. And instead of 4, I'm going to do 28/7. You'll see why. Next, I'm going to add 2 7s to both sides. And I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal to isolate the variable. 7/10. And watch this. 7s cross simplify. 10 and 30 cross simplify to leave me with 3. Do you see what I mean by the fractions work? They work nice. Very nice, actually. Now, once I know that w is 3, it doesn't matter which one of these I put it in. Obviously, the z equals 1 is a little nicer. I'll get to you in a second thing. 9 minus 2 is?
7.
So 3, 7 would be the ordered pair that makes those both true. Finn, did you have a question? Okay. Do you guys see what I mean by the I think we see fractions and have a little panic attack or something.
Yeah,
But look how nice that worked. I just got a straight up 3 and I didn't even have to do anything except 3 times 1, or I guess the hardest thing I did was 4 times 7. Maybe. Or 7 plus 3? I don't know. Nothing crazy. Just don't freak out and roll with it, man. Fractions are sweet. All right, lesson summary. Let's look at this together right now. Here's our 3 systems. Which one would be your first preference to use this substitution? So we would want like an x equals or a y equals. Which one?
2.
I'm hearing 1. I'm hearing 2.
Yeah, well, 2. 2.
I think this one is slam dunk the best one because this can go in for y. But I would also say system 1, pretty easy to get n equals negative 3m plus 71. Right? Do you see on that system 1 I could get an n equals pretty easy? This one, not super easy to get x equals or y equals, right? So I think first easiest, second easiest, don't do it. That's my advice. No, you can. You can get y alone or 5 alone, but just be ugly. Or x alone. So I would choose 1 and 2 because
They have an easier way to get
x or y are equal to or almost equal to something, which lets you substitute it in.